of familiarity with both of these schools. Indiana wins the tip, and we're underway. Same starting five for both teams of late. Cardano, Hillary, Patberg, Berger, Golbey, and Brown for Indiana. Hoosiers in the white, Purdue in the road blacks. 3 for Patberg off the back iron. It won't go. Starting five for Purdue looks similar as normal. Cassidy Hardin, Janae Terry, Abby Ellis in the front court, along with Madison Lane. And Ricky Woltman has filled in very valiantly for Rashea Kyle, who's been out since January, their starting center, with an injury.
Exactly, and Woltman's averaging 7 assists, about 5-6 rebounds per game. She's really been able to step
Hardin
up in
drives
that
in off the glass and in. Normally a three-point specialist. You don't see her take a lot of twos, but she hits there. Purdue strikes first blood. Patberg the other way quickly, left that one short. The board pulled down by Terry, and Purdue getting out of transition here. They're a speedy team. They did a good job of this against IU. Ellis traveled.
Perhaps a bit too speedy at points. That's something Patberg faltered against Purdue early in the last game too, not able to get her shots in, but able to take a lot of shots.
Indiana really struggled at times up in West Lafayette. It was a rowdy atmosphere in Mackey. Over 8,000 fans were there, and the Hoosiers trailed for the majority of the game. Came back from multiple fourth quarter deficits to come back and win in overtime when they're 6 straight in this series. Golbey backing up on the low post, coming off a career high in points against Minnesota, but that one well off the mark. Good D by Hardin. Carry the other way. Hardin from NBA range off the mark. And Purdue will run that down inside to Woltman, and Cardano Hillary took it away. Hoosiers still looking for their first points. That one was nearly overthrown. Golbey will try a long two. Off the back iron, it won't fall. Well, Golbey can't get any better than she played against Minnesota. 28 points, a career high on Thursday, and an impressive come-from-behind victory for the Hoosiers.
Golbey's one that's been able to really step up in place of Mackenzie Holmes and kind of take on that scoring responsibility, which Coach Terry Moore did say it's on everybody and all the starters to be able to do that.
Fans wanted to travel, but it's going to be last touch by Ellis anyway, so it will be Indiana basketball. Now, it was interesting when you look at the stats from that first game. Indiana really struggled in the post, and part of it you have to point at. It was just the second game without Mackenzie Holmes for Indiana. Normally dominant in the post. Purdue won the post points 38-20 in that game, and Golbey did have a good game, but obviously is now switched with Keandra Brown to play the center and the 4.
Yeah, you definitely have to make adjustments against a team like Purdue that can have defense in the paint like that, especially without your big player like Mackenzie Holmes.
Golbey's got a seam. That won't fall. Hoosiers ice cold to start this ball game. Good looks for Indiana, just not falling in their first game in nearly 3 weeks in front of fans. Gotta be some nerves. Terry's got some room, and the jumper is pure. Nate Terry, the 3-year transfer out of Illinois, who's got an early 4-0 lead. Cardano Hillary, a quick shot, and she hits. Purdue again running the floor quickly. Ellis not wasting any time, and the up and under off the glass. So Abby Ellis can really put the ball on the floor. The transfer from Cal Poly, we mentioned in the open, 19 points for, and most of those were drives to the rack.
She's going to be one, obviously, Indiana's going to have to keep an eye on. Grace Berger calling for a travel on that one, didn't get it.
Berger's jumper is short. A lot of long twos for Indiana, not great shots early. Again running the floor, Woltman wide open to lay it in. Poor transition defense by Indiana. It's 8-2 Boilers.
Indiana starts similar how they started against Minnesota. Defense really not able to seeming like get a good grip on the game and get a good idea of how Purdue is approaching their offensive runs.
Berger, a top turnaround. That one barely hit the rim. Brown's got the rebound, tried to throw it off Woltman. What a play by the junior center to corral it. And again, the Boilers on the run. And Terry stepped out of bounds. Hectic start, and obviously we talked about the Hoosiers still trying to get their legs underneath them, just their 3rd game back from COVID-19, but this is really the 3rd straight game, as you see head coach Terry Moore, and the Hoosiers have started really slow since coming back from that COVID break.
It really is, and their game against Minnesota, while they were able to win, was not the prettiest game that they've played, and they all recognize that. And so it's hard to come off of any game, win or lose, when you know that you didn't play up to your full potential. So coming in against a team like Purdue, especially with all of this rivalry, matchup on the line.
Or McNeil
is
first
difficult.
off the bench, off the mark, offensive board, Cardano Hillary, she lays it in.
And that's something, Cardano Hillary, you know, if you watch Indiana basketball, you know how she plays. But a lot of people you hear about her defense who don't necessarily always hear about the way she's able to move on the offense and get those offensive rebounds, which can be really key in games to get momentum back.
Terry to the rack, can't finish, throws off her headband and throws it into the crowd. She did not approve of her headband today. Golbey, a good look at three. Oh, air ball.
Sometimes you got to make those in-game adjustments.
Berger, that's a shot. Fadeaway jumper. Leading scorer for the Hoosiers without Holmes in the game, and IU's cut it to 2.
Speaking of in-game adjustments, Grace Berger, usually wearing pink shoes, wearing all white shoes like most of our other team today.
She's still got the pink headband on.
That she does.
Terry manning the point for Purdue. As the leading scorer laid in, nearly traveled, barely holding that pivot foot on the ground. 5 seconds left on the shot clock. Terry's got to go here, working on more. McNeil, the up and under, crafty from Janae Terry. That's her second bucket of the game, and Purdue extends the lead out to 4. Out to Moore McNeil, first player off the bench for Indiana. Good, a drive to the rack and the foul. Chloe Moore McNeil, the sophomore out of Tennessee, a chance for an old-fashioned three-point play.
And Moore McNeil had a great game against Purdue last time. She had 10 points, played 43 minutes, had made 4 field goals, set a lot of season highs in that game. Obviously, 43 minutes is going to give you a lot of opportunities.
Moore McNeil converts the old-fashioned three-point play, cuts the lead down to 1. It's been a quick start for Purdue. Off the bench, Ava Lauren rejected by Golbey. Moore McNeil running the floor. Good defense by Hardin. Somehow able to hold on to it, though, was Moore McNeil. To Golbey, playing the center right now for Indiana. Golbey off the glass and in. First points for Alexi Golbey, coming off that career high, 27 against Minnesota.
You know, it's interesting, Golbey, when we asked about her career high points yesterday, she just said it happens in every game. You know, it's someone's going to have a good game.
She's very modest.
She is very modest. She really didn't want to talk about it very much. She's very humble, and I think she goes out and she plays the game that she knows how to play and rolls with whatever happens.
Aries been good early. She finds a wide open Lauren who missed the bunny somehow. Can't get a better look than that.
Good rebounding work from Moore McNeil, too, to get in there.
IU's hit their last 3 field goals. Purdue got off to a quick 6-0 start. Hoosiers chipping their way back. Into the corner, Moore McNeil open for 3. Bingo! The first lead of the game for the Hoosiers. How about Moore McNeil off the bench with 6 points?
That's a great pass from Berger,
and Ellis
too.
off the mark on the other end. An 8-0 run for the Hoosiers over the last 120. Berger into all sorts of traffic. Moore McNeil's feeling it right now. Sophomore out of Greenfield, Tennessee. Only game she started was against Purdue. Hoosiers were also with Cardano Hillary. Shot clock running down. Berger's jumper won't go.
Berger's coming off a good night against Minnesota as well. Hit a double-double that night. Seems like she could carry over that momentum a bit.
There he gets it to Ellis. Junior transfer out of Cal Poly, 2 years in San Luis Obispo, native of Melbourne, Australia. Back to Terry, the transfer from Illinois. Very young Purdue team. They only have 1 player in Hardin with significant experience on this team over the last couple years, but Terry able to hit that jumper. Obviously played a lot of Big Ten basketball at Illinois. Terry leading the way with 6 points for Purdue. Berger to Moore McNeil. She'll try another 3. That one rattled in and out.
good to see more McNeil taking shots. There was a point earlier in the season where she didn't seem as comfortable on the floor as she does now.
90 seconds left to play. Offensive foul. Madison Layden called for the offensive foul. Moving screen. Katie Geralds kindly disagrees with our refereeing crew today. Alicia Greiter, Michael McConnell, and Bruce Morris. Katie Geralds in her first season with the Boilers, former Purdue Big Ten champion, taking over for the winningest coach of all time at Purdue, and Sharon Versa. Good cut into goal bag. Better defense by Learn. Fight in the post. Who wants it more? Somehow Cardano Hillary came out with the handle foul. Oh, she's trapped it.
Griffin, I can barely hear you right now. As soon as she fell down on that floor, this crowd went crazy.
That's the hustle plays that's made Nikki, as Coach Morin calls her, a fan favorite here in Bloomington, and she's only been playing for a little over a year in a cream and crimson jersey.
She knows what she's good at, which is almost everything, to be honest. But she really sticks in on those fights on the court, not afraid to fall down, not afraid to get dirty and get hit, banged up a little bit.
Conversation between our three-man Big Ten officiating crew. Looks like it might take, it's something on the monitor. I don't know if a flagrant. Anya Hillary to convert the three-point play. She will. The Hoosiers have hit a three by Moore McNeil and have two old-fashioned three-point plays. Big reason they're in front now by 5. Terry right in front of us, crossing the timeline. Caitlyn Peterson into the ball game for Indiana, the true freshman. Terry finds a seam in the lane, off the glass. Everyone wants to travel, and that looked clean from Terry. She's been impressive early, the junior guard out of Illinois. 2 triple-doubles on the season, but she's proved she can score. Only averaging 7 points per game. She's got 8 already for the Boilers. Berger in the corner. Peterson to Cardano Hillary. That's a long 2. Learn the rebound for the Boilers. He nearly traveled. 8-second differential between shot clock and game clock for Purdue. Really entertaining first quarter in this rivalry battle Sunday afternoon. Brooke Moore, the transfer out of Auburn. The controls for Purdue, the backup point guard. Corner to Smith, the true freshman. Can't finish, gets a second chance and fouled by Peterson.
Terry Morin is not pleased about that one.
There's been some early frustration with the officials on both sides.
There's often frustration in a lot of Big Ten games due to officiating on both sides, back and forth, from fans and players and coaches.
Berger re-enters for Indiana. Patberg takes a seat. But it's interesting, IU only played 7 players against Purdue. Both teams only played 7 players in that rivalry battle. IU's already gone to their bench early here. They've already had 8 different players come to this ballgame.
Yeah, and that's something that has grown over the course of the season. Started out, they would only play their starting 5.
Shot clock off, Hardin off the back iron. Moore McNeil pulls it down. She's got a chance to pull one at the buzzer. It's good if it goes. It was online, but short. Into the corner, it's Hardin off the mark. Berger drives in, out of control, a little too fast. Offensive board, goal bay. Oh, nice play by Learn. Learn's been a menace in the post early. And then here's that last off of the sideline ref didn't see. It's going to stay Purdue. Smith got it poked away from Papper. It's been such an up-tempo game, Amanda. We apologize if we're cutting in and out a little bit, but it's been a really up-tempo, fast game by both teams.
Definitely.
A lot of running of the floor.
Definitely has. I think it's hard to tell exactly who's controlling the pace right now. They both just keep going and going. Feeding off of the energy of the crowd, both the teams are, I'm sure.
Certainly one of the better crowds we've seen this season at Assembly Hall. Fans really covering the entire first deck here in Bloomington.
You know, as it should be for IU Purdue.
One of the biggest games of the season as Smith couldn't finish, and a foul is going to be called on Smith. A loose ball foul, fighting with Berger. A little shove by Smith, and then Patberg didn't like that. Smith just put a little forehand shove onto Allie Patberg, the true freshman out of Lawrence North High School in Indy, and Brooke Moore had to come in and calm down Smith. And that was close to escalating to something a little bigger.
Tensions are high, what can you say? Purdue feels like, I'm sure they have something to prove. You know, we talked to Coach Gerald yesterday. It seemed like they wanted to come in, they wanted to compete. The players obviously want to do that, and they're doing that right now.
Smith takes a seat on the bench. Gerald's trying to calm down the talented true freshman, 2021 Indiana Miss Basketball, but obviously one of the loudest atmospheres she's played in her life. No points yet here in the second quarter with the Hoosiers leading by 3. Golbey finds it cutting Patberg. Good defense. Out defense by Moore and Terry getting over. Hoosiers shooting just 30% from the floor early. Been quiet so far for number 33, Madison Landon. She's the leading scorer for Purdue. They got 3 players in double figures. Balanced scoring team. Long 2, Terry hits again. Janae Terry, what a performance. She's got 10 points, 10 of the 16 for Purdue. Cardano Hillary on her home, foul on Ellis.
10 points, 3 rebounds already. I'm sure she's maybe not one that Indiana was expecting to come out based off of last game and have this much success. You know, you look at Layden, you look at Abby Ellis's performances in the last game and how successful they were, and then Terry's coming in. That shows the versatility of the bench and how they can kind of go different areas when they need to and do the best performance that they can.
Cardano Hillary will have 2 shots at the line on the shooting foul. Terry's really, though, the glue guy of the Purdue team, as she has 2 triple-doubles on the season. Only 2 other players have more. Of course, Grace Berger had 3 last year for Indiana. Big Ten fans will remember. Doesn't have any this year. That is so hard to do in college basketball to get a triple-double at all, and she has 2 of them. Really shows her versatility. Really taking a big step forward. A 3-year start at Illinois. One of the best players this season for Purdue. Learn, she'll hit. Heard a whistle, but no call there, and we are tied at 18. Freshman Ava Learn off the bench has been getting some significant minutes. Her first points. Grace Wagner into the game for Indiana. Both teams have gone to the bench a lot more than they did back in Mackey 2 weeks ago. Golbey puts it on the floor and is fouled.
Grace Wagner, for those who did watch the other Indiana-Purdue game, was the player with the steal at the very end of the game that ended up leading to a series of events to send it into overtime. She's been one that has been consistently practicing and putting in effort, Allie Patberg said yesterday when we talked to her, and so the team isn't surprised at the performance that Wagner's been able to put on the past few games, while fans might not be the ones that are expecting her to come out and have a good impact.
Golbey 2 shots at the line, and she had the game-winning shot, a go-ahead shot against Minnesota last game. I mean, she's not a player that scores a whole lot, only on the season 7 points the whole season, yet she was in there in the final minutes. Golbey had the assist on the go-ahead bucket in the final minutes against Minnesota. She's a player that, as you said, Papper raved about yesterday and said, you know, she's just ready to do her job. She's not going to complain that she's not going to score a lot. She is just a gutsy player that really helps this team out behind the scenes and is always ready. Ellis, she could really put on the acceleration to the rack, and Indiana's had a hard time containing her today. That foul's on the floor. Will be a shooting foul, so 2 shots for Abby Ellis at the line. The fouls racking up for both teams here in this second quarter.
Fouls are something that Purdue's struggled with, Indiana as well, but Purdue's already got 6 personal fouls. You don't want to have your starters especially fouling out or getting in foul trouble, and with the depth of the Purdue bench and the ability of people like Brooke Moore to come off the bench, you know, you can kind of afford to have that, but not really.
Ellis hits both free throws. An excellent free-throw shooter, 84% to lead the way. We're all knotted at 20. We got a dandy early in this Big Ten rivalry between Indiana and Purdue. Ali Patberg, oh, a no-look pass to Golden, but blocked by Terry. Janae Terry has been everywhere. Offense, defense, really been the floor leader for Purdue, and for sure Golbe was gonna have a wide open layup. It was a crafty pass from Patberg.
Really was. Love to see plays like that. Adds a little bit more excitement to an already very exciting game.
Terry has played every minute of this ball game so far for Purdue. She's been impressive. Wagner swings it to Patberg in her final rivalry game as a Hoosier. Golbe can't finish. She's had a tough day, just 4 points, 1 of 8 shooting after 27 points her last outing against Minnesota. Hardin calling for a screen with Learn.
Crowd chanting air ball right now.
Well, too high for Learn and picked off. And Terry just fouls Patberg to slow down the break. That will already be the 4th team foul, though, on Purdue. So IU will be shooting free throws the rest of the quarter after this. The first personal on Terry. Purdue got off to a quick 6-0 start. IU responded with an 8-0 run. It's been back and forth here in the second quarter. Hoosiers trying to dominate, continue their domination against Purdue here at Assembly Hall. They have not lost in 10 years, if you can believe it, to Purdue here in Bloomington. Berger working on Layden. Shot clock down to 5 and a foul. Layden got her hand caught in the cookie jar. And that's the 5th first team foul on Purdue. So IU shooting free throws the rest of the way, and Berger at the line for 2.
Everybody who stepped foot on the court except for Hardin has 1 personal foul now.
I mean, you'd rather have that than have someone with 2 or 3 fouls.
That's true,
so
but that just makes Layden's at 2 now with that most recent foul.
It does feel like something you can't afford if you're Purdue. I mean, when we talked with Katie Gerald yesterday, she didn't mince words. She said, you know, if I'm a betting man, I would bet on Indiana too. That's where the odds are going to be. They are the more talented team. We know we played our heart out in Mackey, but they got Cardano Hillary back, and we're having to go on the road. We're just going to have to stay composed, and I think that's the one thing with the fouls that she'd like not to see.
Exactly.
Berger hits both free throws. Hoosiers have 7 points at the free throw line and are in the bonus the rest of the second quarter. Janae Terry leading the way for Purdue. She's got half of their points. Nearly traveled, and that one last touch by Ellis and into the seats. Well, turnovers have been a little bit of an issue early for Purdue, too. That's their 7th turnover. Mentioned this young Boilermaker team. They lost 3 of their 5 starters from last year. There's just 1 player that is still on the team from their 2019-2020 team that had any significant minutes 2 years ago. That's Cassidy Hardin. A lot of transfers, a lot of freshmen and sophomores getting playing time. Golbe, she's got a sweet stroke there, and the Hoosiers extend the lead to 4. The Latvian whose birthday was yesterday. Hardin off a screen, she pushed off. Offensive foul. Boilermakers in a scoring drought. They haven't scored in 2:30. See the sweet spot. Sweet shot by Golbe. She has really expanded her offensive acumen, Amanda.
She definitely has, you know, at points. Not to compare her to other people on the team because obviously she's her own player, but looks like Mackenzie Holmes up in the post, looks like Grace Berger with the jumper. Just goes back and forth.
Cardano Hillary is another player that can shoot. The all-time leading scorer at George Mason before she transferred to Indiana, and IU's on a 6-0 run over the last minute.
Cardano Hillary right now is averaging 11.4 points per game. She's already got 10. She's 4 for 5 in field goals, 2 for 3 in free throws.
Freshman Jayla Smith, who a little shove on Patberg before, back in the game. Been one of the best players last couple games, though, for Purdue. Ellis, what a tough shot, and it nearly went down. He looks to the sky in frustration, and Wagner went tumbling to the court trying to pull down that rebound.
She's easy to spot on the court due to her signature accessory, a ribbon in her hair every game to match her Purdue uniforms. The ribbons were a gift from her mother and her sister, so she transferred to Purdue from Cal Poly. She says that the ribbons are a way for her to stay connected to her family 9,000 miles away. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Gwen. She's been excellent early for Purdue. 4 points, 2 boards, really active offensively. Grace Wagner active on boards as well, nearly pulled down that offensive rebound, but it'll stay Purdue basketball. Abby Ellis, you want to talk about why Purdue has exceeded expectations this year. Last year, they finished with just 4 wins in conference. They've already gotten to that mark. I think a huge reason is Ellis transferring from the West Coast.
I think absolutely, yeah. She's averaging 11 points a game. She's got 71 assists in the season too, which is not to be overlooked. And she's definitely an impactful player on the court.
See that black hairband? Obviously, I think it's the middle of the night right now in Melbourne. Hello to the Ellis family if they're watching, but that's some tough sleeping hours to try to watch your daughter all the way over there in Australia.
Talked to Alexa Goulbe. She said her family's able to watch too because of the time difference. They don't have to be up late or get up at some random hour of the night.
The game being a little earlier today, they don't like the late games because it's on at 3 a.m. there in Latvia.
Which is very understandable.
Brooke Moore driving, foul called on the shot. So it'll be 2 shots for Brooke Moore, kind of a foul fest here in this second quarter. Purdue trying to get its first points in over 3 minutes.
Brooke Moore coming off the bench. She leads the team in scoring in Big Ten play. She's averaging 12.6 points per game against in-conference opponents, averaging 10.1 points overall this season.
He had a big role, too, in that Boilermaker loss in overtime to the Hoosiers. 18 points off the bench. That was second only to Ellis. Had 6 boards as well. Second year with Purdue, spent 2 years before at Auburn. She hits both free throws. Both teams have been excellent from the line. And the lead cut down to 4. Feels like a key last 4 minutes or so of this first half. The momentum has switched back and forth. A big crowd here at Assembly Hall. Moore McNeil needs some help. Shot clock down to 12. Patberg back to Moore McNeil, who had a couple big shots in the first quarter. Patberg will give it a try. Won't go. Loose ball. Goulbe and Smith fighting. Jump ball, and the arrow will keep it with Indiana. A lot of loose balls, high tempo. You can tell how much this game means for both of these teams.
Absolutely.
Talked with Allie Patberg yesterday, Columbus, Indiana native, and she talked about her last game today, how important this has been in her career. She's never lost to Purdue. Race. Nicole Cardanio-Hillary dribbled that one off the baseline, so it'll be Purdue basketball. A lot of the Boilers not as familiar with this rivalry. In fact, Hardin's the only player on the roster, again, with significant playing time, that's beat Indiana. Or the pull-up off the back iron will fall. Hasn't hit a field goal nearly 5 minutes. IU on a 2-minute scoring drought until Berger finishes through traffic. Berger's got 6 points for the Hoosiers. The lead back out to 6. Yep. Freshman Indiana Miss Basketball Smith gets it inside for Moore and then intercepted by Berger. One-on-one, Berger fouled by Hardin.
Really good awareness by Berger there to run in and intercept that pass.
Been a little bit sloppy offensively for Purdue. They're shooting much better than Indiana, 41% to 33%, but the Boilers had turned the ball over already 9 times. Not going to get it done, especially against this Hoosier defense that has been so good all season. IU, the 3rd best scoring defense in the Big Ten, giving up less than 60 points per game.
Exactly, and with Indiana only having 2 turnovers so far in this game, you don't want that margin to be that big.
Prince Berger off the back iron. Moore McNeil pulls down the board. And she's been a big reason the Hoosiers have a slim lead right now. Just an energy bunny. Now she's open for 3. Moore McNeil hits. off the bench, the star for the Hoosiers, and the lead is 10 for Indiana. Timeout, Katie Gerald. Listen to this crowd.
Birthday yesterday. I asked her if she had any big plans. She said no, just lots of rest before today's big matchup. However, I did learn that she occasionally likes to bake. So she baked a cake, brought it to practice yesterday, and celebrated with her teammates. Back to you guys.
Yeah, thanks, Gwen. It was tiramisu, and I'm just a little disappointed we didn't get any. It sounded good as Terry hits at the buzzer, stop the Indiana 6-0 run. It was funny, though. It's the other way around. Typically, they bake the cake for you, and Golbey, such a giver, she baked a cake for her teammates on her birthday, but said she likes to be creative and make things, be a baker.
Whatever takes the stress off, too. Baking's always good stress relief.
It's definitely true. Cardano Hillary in the lane. Moore got a piece of it. Good post defense all game by Purdue. Moore puts on the heat. I can't finish at the rack. This up-tempo game continues, and Smith tore it away from Patberg and will take it away. It was kicked by Cardano Hillary. That should have been a call. It's not. It'll stay Purdue basketball. Wide open is Smith for three, but off the mark.
Assembly Hall looks like an ice rink. Everybody falling all over the place.
Andre Curbelo got tripped yesterday. There was a couple spills in the men's game as well. It's a slippery court, and it's been busy. 2 games in a little over 24 hours here at Assembly Hall.
Slippery court combined with 2 aggressive teams. People are going to be sliding.
Cardano Hillary off the ball screen. Shot clock down to 8. Oh, what a finish off the glass. The Spaniard with a pretty move, and the lead back out to 10. Shot clock turned off.
She always has such good ball movement, ball handling. She can really go anywhere on the court and still be able to control that ball the entire time.
Quiet. 12 points for Cardano Hillary, but she leads the way for the Hoosiers. He's guarding Terry here. Terry's been excellent too. Hardin with the clock down to 3. The up and under off the mark. Loose ball pulled down by Moore McNeil, and that is the end of the first half. Nice crowd here in Bloomington. It should be a fun final 20 minutes. All 5 starters for both teams out to start this game. Inside to Layden, who was very quiet for Purdue, didn't score, and she can't finish there either. Leading scorer on the Boilers. No points. She's certainly got to be someone that head coach Katie Gerald was talking to in the locker room, try to get going. Berger, oh, what a spin move in the lane. That's her go-to.
But Indiana's definitely coming in with more momentum this quarter, this half. They're able to go on a bit of a run to close out the second quarter, keep Purdue from scoring. Momentum's such a big thing in any basketball game, especially a game like this one, where it can be so easily taken and given away.
Waltman got a good look on Brown, who couldn't finish. Keandra Brown only played 4 minutes. It was the first 4 minutes of that first half, and then sat the rest of the way. She got lost a couple times defensively, so that may have been the reason why. She take a jumper here. You don't see too many of those from her. It's well short.
Brown is one that comes in for defense to force those fouls, draw those fouls, and so if she gets lost on the defense, you know, it makes sense to put someone else in for her.
Nice pass to Waltman from Terry, but she just couldn't finish. Well, the junior center has had a quiet game as well, just 2 points. Both teams without their starting centers right now as Golbey double teamed inside. Cardano Hillary gives it a try. The post defense has been really good for Purdue. Keandra Brown, the offensive board, blocked by Waltman. There's a nice play by the junior center out of St. Louis. Terry hands off to Waltman. She'll finish that time. Second bucket for Ricky Waltman, who we talked with Katie Geralds about, and she said, you know, she's a junior, but she really didn't play much her freshman and sophomore year. She's been forced into action with Rashea Kyle, the starting center, out with a lower leg injury since December 5th.
And Gerald said she's really kind of grown into this position. She's more comfortable with it now. Has had more time to really adapt, and it's showing in this game.
Berger off to a good start. She's got the first 2 buckets for Indiana here in the third quarter. Ellis working her way around a screen. Madison Layden, again, the leading scorer, 13 points per game. She has a goose egg in the scorers column today. Trying to get around Patberg, and she lost it. It has been a frustrating day for Layden, the sophomore guard, who was Indiana 2020 Gatorade Player of the Year, Northwestern High School in Kokomo.
Someone else to keep an eye on for Purdue, who really hasn't had much contribution, is Cassidy Hardin. She's got 23 games with a three-pointer and has yet to score one in this game. She's only got 2 points.
That's a good point. She's only shot 1 3, which
exactly.
is unusual. She'll typically put up 10 threes or so a game.
They're not pushing the ball outside to her as much. They're trying to go in the paint or pass it to other people, other players on the court, and she's more focused on the defensive aspect, it seems like.
Purdue's first foul on the floor. That goes on Ellis, her second. Berger with 4 already in this half, doubled, opens it up for Brown. A little bunny hop that'll finish the first points for Keandra Brown. Starting with Mackenzie Holmes out, the Montreal native with a bucket.
Brown is someone, when she gets going, she brings all the energy with her. She's falling on the court like a lot of the other players, but she gets really into the game, really aggressive. Be a great source of energy for everyone else.
She had 8 points against Purdue at Mackey, a career high for her. Janae Terry scoreless in that second half. She was excellent in the first. Oh, what a great pass to Woltman. No look. Woltman's got 2 buckets, and Terry is doing it all. 12 points. She's now got 4 assists and 5 rebounds. I think she's on triple-double watch.
Just a little bit.
Berger open off the mark. Not a great three-point shooter. Berger just 3 of 10 from behind the arc this year. Making 3 of 11. Terry, there is Hardin for 3 off the mark. Cassidy Hardin, you mentioned it, hit a 3. Breaking our coach's record, actually, as there's the turnover. 23 straight games with a 3. Terry in the lane. Off balance it goes. Everything going down for the native of Detroit. Gives a little rock the baby motion as she goes down the court. She's feeling it, no doubt about it.
When you're 7 for 8 in field goals, I think you're allowed to do that.
You're allowed to talk a little bit of trash, no doubt.
Yeah.
She's been carrying Purdue offensively. 14 of their 30 points. Berger, that won't fall. She's been really aggressive here early in the second quarter, or third quarter, excuse me. Ellis, Euro in the lane. She went too far off the bottom of the backboard. You trying to get in transition. Terry got a piece of it.
Like
Janae Terry's done everything.
She's doing it all.
We keep on saying it on repeat, but man, she has really impressed both of us today. Woltman, the feed to Ellis. Good defense again by Patberg. Jump ball, and it'll go to Indiana. Allie Patberg hasn't scored, but she has completely shut down Madison Layden.
That's something Terry Morin's talked about frequently throughout this season, is players, especially like Allie Patberg, contribute on ways that don't show up on the stat sheet, and so people might not be as aware of it, but her defense has been instrumental today and in a lot of other games Indiana's played throughout the season. So
interesting how Patberg's role has changed on this team. You look at just 2 years ago, and she was, you know, the main scoring option for IU. 22% of their scoring is Golbeck. It's from 3. Talk about scoring, and just like that, the lead back out to 13.
Patberg's got 7 years of college basketball experience, so she's got room to switch her roles up whenever she needs to.
A player like Golbe is kind of the opposite. 2 years ago, very much just a defensive player. She's increased her scoring. IU a lot more versatile. A big reason they're the 5th team in the country right now. Berger in transition, another pull-up. That's her shot. A 15-point lead. It's the biggest of the game for Indiana, and Purdue needs a spark as fans come to their feet.
There's only so much Terry can do as that one player who's really doing it all for them right now. You know, it's good to have a player like that, but that can't be all you have.
Force that one to Hardin. More McNeil. Oh, what a bounce pass to Golbe, but blocked. Oh, my. Oh, Smith came out of nowhere to reject Golbe. Are they going to call a foul there? I don't think there was a foul.
I don't think so.
Coach Gerald's doesn't think so either. Suddenly thousands and thousands of other people joining me. A big change from one of the worst teams in the Big Ten to number 5 right now in the country and 2nd in the Big Ten. Layden, nothing will go for her. She misses again, still scoreless. Again, the Hoosiers on the run, and Moore McNeil is fouled by Layden. They have called it very tight. Really ever since the second quarter.
Definitely. That'll be Layden's third personal foul. She's in a bit of foul trouble. Worth noting that she does have 5 rebounds, just tied for the most with Terry. on the Boilermakers.
She stays on the court with 3. 2 team fouls in this quarter on Purdue.
Grace Berger falling into the bench after being double teamed there.
Patberg's first points of the ball game, a free-throw line, Jay. The biggest lead is 17. And it feels like, you're right, Amanda, you said it earlier, someone besides Terry needs points, and now, is that a push-off? Yes, it is. A push-off offensive foul called on Terry. Patberg with the nice play. Her second foul. Katie Geralds was frustrated last half. Now she's behind words. First-year head coach. She was the coach 8 years at Marion University in Indy NAIA school, won 2 national titles, took over as associate head coach in the offseason, and then 47 days before the season promoted to head coach. The unexpected retirement of Sharon Versa. Brown inside, she's got 4 points, and the lead is 19.
That's a really good pass from Patberg to sneak it in there too.
What a nice move by Brown. And a steal on the other end. Berger takes it away from Smith. Now the turnover bug continues for Purdue. They have 4 turnovers in the last 3 minutes. Moore McNeil certainly thought about that 3. She's hit 2 for Indiana today. It's been a balanced scoring afternoon. Berger, air ball. Terry pulls down the board, ahead to Moore. Purdue's got to find some points. They haven't scored in 3 minutes, and there's the announcer's jinx or cure as Brooke Moore hits, and the lead cut to 17. Breaks a 9-0 run. Moore McNeil wasting no time, blocked by Smith. Open, Patberg for 3. No. This game continues to be fast-paced. You can't blink, you're going to miss something. Terry in the lane. That won't fall. Woltman the offensive board. Brown got the block. And off the knee of Woltman. Indiana basketball. Woltman will take a seat. Learn will enter. Abby Ellis will enter as well, as Terry will get a much-needed rest on the bench. She leads the way with 14 points. No one else for Purdue has more than 6.
We've got Alexa Gouldbay back in for Keandra Brown as well. Put a little bit more height on that Indiana defense.
Well, they really played small, but Hoosiers defense has been very effective today after their worst performance of the season on Thursday. Steal by Purdue, and then a loose ball foul on Indiana. The Hoosiers have done a much better job taking care of the ball. They have just 6 turnovers. Purdue has 15 of them.
That's a huge scoring difference, or huge margin, excuse me. Something that really we talked about a little bit, momentum-wise. You have to keep worrying about turnovers like Purdue, whereas Indiana, they don't have that much defensive pressure on them. It can really change the game, and we've seen it in the way that Indiana's been able to come out into this half. 17-point
lead for the Hoosiers, trying for the 3rd straight season to sweep the Boilers. Open 3 is good. Jayla Smith from downtown coming off her last couple best games of the season. The true freshman gets her first points. Cardano Hillary with a seam, can't finish. Smith running the floor with Abby Ellis. Now, Smith's a player that can get hot. She's now 7 of her last 9 from downtown in the last 4 games. Could be a player to bring Purdue back. Oilers are a good 3-point shooting team. Averaging 8 3-pointers per game, 4th in the Big Ten. Speaking of threes, Brooke Moore from way downtown. She made that one from Indianapolis. And Purdue is right back in this ball game, an 8-0 run. Now Moore leads the way in terms of percentage from 3. Someone else besides Terry stepping up for Purdue. They needed it.
Yeah, they did.
Oh, what good ball movement. Cardano Hillary wide open. It's good. It stops the run. NCH with 15 points tonight.
And quiet 15 points at that, which seems like the name of her game. You know, she's not necessarily the flashiest player. You notice her defense, but her scoring can go a bit unnoticed in the way that she's so crafty about it.
She's going to be called for the foul there on Brooke Moore. What ball movement, though, on this possession? Inside, outside.
fantastic planning, and having someone like Gulbe who's tall enough to just lob it outside. It's a really good move.
Inside and the foul. Abby Ellis taking the contact. Purdue is not quitting. Well, they did this against Northwestern. They trailed in that game by more than 20 points. They cut the lead to single digits, ended up falling by 13. But this is a Purdue team that Katie Gerald's talked about. They will not quit. A lot of fight. What an athletic move. Ellis a chance to convert the old-fashioned three-point play in front of the Indiana student section. The lead back down to 11. Well, Purdue's found a spark right when they needed it, trying to cut it back to single digits before the final 10. Trying to pull off a statement upset, build them some momentum to try to get back in the NCAA tournament picture. A month ago, they were a bubble team. They've lost 5 of their last 7. Pat Berg to Cardano Hillary has 3 threes. Instead, she'll put it on the floor, fouled by Learn, and she'll have 2 shots at the line. Cardano Hillary, 5 straight games now, has scored at least 11 points and hit a 3. She has been playing some of her best offensive basketball of the season. Of course, didn't play in that Purdue game.
Right, she's been so instrumental in every game that she comes in one way or another. I think a really key reason why Indiana is having the success that they're having this season.
It's pretty funny when we talked to Katie Gerald yesterday. You asked her, Amanda, you know, Cardano Hillary's back. How do you handle her? And Gerald said, you know, you tell me. I have no idea.
I was like, I don't know either. She's like, do you know the answer?
And they haven't had an answer for her today. She does miss both free throws, but she's got 15 points, 4 boards, and has been excellent defensively. Arguably the most underrated defensive player in the Big Ten. How good was she against Michigan last Monday with 8 steals in that game?
Exactly.
Shot clock off for Purdue. Moore tries another 3. That one rims out. And that will do it for the end of the third quarter. And a lot of Purdue history and tradition at that program. 1999 NCAA champions, the only Big Ten school ever to win a national title. They have struggled of late, and an offensive foul by Abby Ellis. That's not going to make Coach Gerald's happy. I got to mention this. I saw this in the Purdue game notes about Coach Gerald's, of course. Gwen mentioning got Purdue to an Elite 8. How about in 2003, she was the McDonald's All-American Game MVP on the women's side. Guess, Amanda, who was on the men's side in 2003?
Oh my gosh, I don't know.
LeBron James.
Oh my God, I would not have guessed that. I definitely would not have thought that.
We didn't get a chance to ask Katie Gerald's that, but her name right next to LeBron James in history. That feels pretty good, I guess.
Fantastic.
At Beech Grove High School in southeastern Indy. Pat Berg's shot found nothing but air. Purdue goes the other way. They still got a shot here, the Boilers and Katie Gerald, to pull off a big-time upset. Get their first win in Bloomington in 10 years, and Learn able to hit that shot. Nice pass from Ellis to Learn, the freshman.
When talking about Ellis, that personal foul she got called on, that makes 3 Boilermakers currently on the court with 3 personal fouls.
Lead down to single digits. Purdue fighting back here in Bloomington. It's been impressive. They've lost 5 of their last 7. They have not given up. Trailed by as much as 17, picked away by Moore. She's got numbers around the back. Oh, the fancy finish, but she couldn't finish it.
Aggressive pushback by Berger there.
And now IU's got numbers and too far to Pat Berg. Cardano Hillary a little too aggressive, and Pat Berg couldn't catch up to it. And this would be a statement win for Katie Gerald in her first season. They've already knocked off one top 25 team in Florida State. A good win against Georgia Tech as well, so they can compete against top 25 teams. Layden open for 3. Oh, that would have been big, but an offensive rebound by Smith. Well, the freshman's been good in the second half. Blocked by Gulbe. Oh, what a play by Alexa Gulbe. Hasn't had it offensively today, but another block for Gulbe. That is her second today.
That's something that's also been somewhat missing from this Indiana team without Mackenzie Holmes, who seems like she's just always ready to be blocking. The rest of the starters, everybody's had to step up and maybe get a little bit out of their comfort zones in terms of things like that.
Moore passed it over the head of Ellis, picked off by Cardano Hillary. She lays it in. Oh, what a big turnaround there. The block and the turnover, a 4-point turnaround.
She knew it was coming. She had a little smile on her face going down the court there. She's so confident in everything she does on the court, it seems.
Ellis to Moore, who's come off the bench with 7 points here in the second half to try to mount a Purdue comeback. She'll try a contested three and hit. Brooke Moore heating up, 2 threes, 10 points now. A lead cut to 8, the closest it's been since early in the third quarter.
That's great for Purdue to have some people off the bench like that for them. They don't have to rely on their starters to really drive the game.
Moore's a player coming in that had really struggled, 4 of 21 from behind the arc in her last 6 games. She has been excellent in the second half. Golbey with the answer. The lead back out to double digits. The Hoosiers offense has been hitting on all cylinders today.
That puts Golbey at another quiet 11 points.
She'll be called for the foul there on the driving Smith. Golbey's second, just the first on Indiana. It's been a lot of foul trouble for Purdue, not the case though for IU.
Done a good job keeping down turnovers and personal fouls relative to Purdue and overall in their overall season.
Laid in inside to Learn, and Golbey's called for the foul. Just a little bit too much contact. Back-to-back fouls on Golbey, so she has 3 now. And there'll be 2 free throws at the line for the true freshman Ava Learn. Learn's been active inside, long, tall player, and 6'1". I mentioned Rashea Kyle, 6'6" starting center, biggest player in Purdue, likely out for the season with a leg injury. Players like Learn, players like Woltman, been really huge for Purdue and offering some size.
Learn's coming off a big game against Northwestern. She had 15 points in that loss, most likely carrying over some of that momentum.
She only scored 2 points until January. She was barely playing and has now become an instrumental part of this Purdue team. Cardano Hillary weaving through traffic. The lead is down to 8 again. It's as close as Purdue's gotten in this half. Golbey to Moore McNeil, battling through Learn, and in. 11 points for Chloe Moore McNeil. It's been a sterling game for her.
That makes 4 Hoosiers with over 10 points now.
That is a career high now for Moore McNeil. Her career high was 10 against Purdue 3 weeks ago. She's topped it today. Moore's got the hot hand. She finds a seam but couldn't finish the bunny. Well, she did all the hard work but couldn't finish in the lane. Yeah, she takes it away. Cardano Hillary was looking for Moore McNeil. Smith in rhythm for 3. High arcing, a little bit too much air. Patberg will slow it down. I think that'd be the one complaint Terry Morin had of both of her offense on Thursday, and a little bit today, a little bit too fast at times.
Exactly. If you get going too quickly, you have passes go out of bounds, plays go off track. And in a game like this where you do have a 10-point lead, there's not a huge amount of time left. You can afford to slow it down and really take your time a bit more.
Pass to Patberg, but she couldn't finish. Just feels like Purdue's hanging around, waiting for one more run. Smith's got a seam. Oh, she couldn't finish either. And a jump ball is going to be called. Good play by Ellis, getting her hands in on Golbey. And the possession arrow points to Purdue.
The crowd is less than pleased about that call.
Actually, it points to Indiana. The scorer's table lied to me.
We take back their boos now.
So Hoosier basketball, little press applied here by Purdue. Trying to cut into this 10-point deficit. Indiana, winners of 10 of their last 11, trying to stay in second place in the Big Ten. It's a busy schedule as they make up games due to 2 weeks of a COVID postponement. Game next Wednesday, then Saturday, then Monday. That Saturday game, Michigan State getting made up from earlier in the season. Golbey, she traveled.
That Saturday game starts half an hour before the men's game.
Yeah, I don't know why they did that in the scheduling.
They travel to Michigan State. Both of these teams are going to be playing the same school. And
tough for fans, though, on both sides. I mean, unless you have a 2 TV setup, why couldn't you start one of the games at a different time? I don't know. Ellis, nice move to get some space, and she hits.
You just have to hope that you don't have reporters covering both teams.
Yeah, that would be tough.
To double team it.
Patberg running the floor. Back to Cardano Hillary. Moore the good defense, and Purdue basketball.
Slippery court.
Purdue battling, fighting, crawling to stay in this ball game.
season.
And we've got a good finish for this massive crowd on a Sunday. That one hit off a shoe. Falls to Layden, who's still scoreless. The leading scorer for Purdue. She hasn't scored today. Ellis trying to create some space. Off to Moore, working around traffic. One won't fall. Brooke Moore has been the active player offensively in the second half for Purdue. She's cooled down of late. Feels like a couple more shots the Hoosiers could pull away and let these 7,000 fans, mostly in cream and crimson, enjoy the rest of their Sunday evening in glee. Berger working on Smith. Smith got a piece of it, and Purdue out and running. Left open, Moore for three. Oh, she couldn't hit it. Good look after good look for Brooke Moore, who's out to 10 points on the second half, but she has cooled down in the fourth quarter. Got a defensive struggle to finish.
Indiana jumping up to 11 turnovers now. They have had 3 in about the last 3 minutes and haven't scored in that same amount of time.
That was nearly a turnover too. Moore was just a half set too late. Shot clock down to 8. Berger nearly turned that over, down to 3. Cardano Hillary, desperation won't go, gets her own rebound.
Really good at saving the situation.
We're at 6 boards today for Cardano Hillary, even though she's the shortest player on the floor. Hustle and effort make the graduate transfer so good. 6 seconds left on the shot clock. Berger, the spin move, no. Nothing will fall for either team.
Looking like the beginning of the game again for Indiana.
It's gotta be frustrating for the Hoosiers. If Boilers can just find something that can really make these fans nervous. Terry driving in, couldn't finish. Moore left open again. She hesitates, but hits Brooke Moore from downtown. Where do the Hoosiers go with their offense? Mackenzie Holmes remains out for them, the leading scorer.
You know, they've got most of their starters in. You wonder if they want to bring Grace Wagner back, see if she can get anything going.
Cardano Hillary with the 3. Her second of the game as she has 20 points, and the Hoosiers have the answer. Back and forth we go, under 2 minutes left to play. Can Abby Ellis and Purdue answer? Ellis in the lane, can't finish. A fight for the rebound, and Cardano Hillary pulls it down. In front of the 5th largest crowd in Assembly Hall history, so big there's even a couple people up in the balcony, which is very rare for a women's basketball game. They have been treated to a real fun one as Smith takes it away. Berger and Patberg collided, and no one is even close to Jayla Smith as the true freshman out of Indy cuts the lead to 5. 90 seconds to play. The Hoosiers are not a great free-throw shooting team. You wonder at what point does Purdue try to foul?
They've got a chance to now. It's, you know, under almost just about a minute left.
Cardano Hillary, she's been the star offensive player, but Smith got a piece of it. What a play by the freshman. A minute to play. Purdue can cut it to a 1-possession game. You can cut the tension with a knife.
And here comes the crowd.
Ellis. Purdue has 2 timeouts and they're going to use one. Ellis had lost control, and the noise decibels were really increasing here at Assembly Hall. 891 on their feet here at Assembly Hall. Terry to inbound. Shot clock is at 12. Terry into Ellis, and last touch by Patberg. Well, they're going to review this. They originally are going to rule it for IU basketball, but I think that was pretty clearly last touch by Patberg.
That's what it looked like to me over here.
The defense, Berger gets it ahead to Moore McNeil. Not fouling yet, clock down to 40. Back to Berger, they've got to foul, you would think now. IU's not going to shoot this. Instead, it's nearly thrown away. Ooh. Moore got her hands on it, but deflected out.
That's some solid passing from Indiana, keep the ball moving around, but not at too quick of a pace where they're at risk of really losing the ball.
I wonder if this point maybe you don't foul. 16-second differential between shot clock and game clock. Maybe they just think there's too many fouls or try to get a steal, as Layden nearly did. Poke that one out. Will stay Indiana basketball. This has been tenacious defense by Purdue. We mentioned Indiana struggling to control the ball in the second half. 9 turnovers. Berger to inbound. She needs help, gets it to Golbey, Again, double teamed on the sideline, and now a foul's called. Well, that's going to reset the shot clock, or reset the shot clock at least back out to 20 and change things.
And it's something, you know, if Purdue's not trying to actively foul, there's a chance if they get the ball and they can get in three-point position, they have a shot at coming back without needing to foul Indiana.
I think you got a foul now, though, with only a 10-second differential, trailing by 5. They get it into Golbey, and oh man, she passed it to an empty seat on the sideline if she hadn't been fouled before. Yeah, there's us. She was passing it towards us. There was no one there, and IU got bailed out.
I'm not wanting to play a basketball game against anybody on this court. 2
more fouls needed for Purdue, and Berger slips away for a minute and finally is fouled, but IU able to run more time off the clock. So that's now 4 personals. And Purdue, this next foul will be free throws, so you can kind of think of who do you want to foul, who has the lower free throw shooting. Moore McNeil's the least experienced player on the floor, that's for certain. They get it into Cardenio Hillary. That's not a you want to foul. They'll foul Berger instead. Berger, also not a player you want to foul. 81% from the line. All Big Ten first team last year. And she shoots from the free throw line during the game. That's her customary jumper.
She's 3 for 4 tonight, 13 points. She's rolling. I think she's got it. Not to make bold predictions, but she's comfortable at that line, no doubt.
IU 8 of 12 at the free throw line tonight.
Hardin just comes in. She still has yet to hit a three-pointer tonight.
I think Purdue might need a 3 on the next possession. Berger hits the first. This next one would be big, make it a 3-possession game and make time really a problem for Purdue with only 23 seconds left. Hoosiers trying to hold on. Berger hits both. Purdue's going to have to go quickly here. 23 seconds left. What can they draw up? Tried to hand off to Moore. Good deny by Moore McNeil. Clock down to 15. Purdue's got to shoot. Moore in the lane won't fall. Offensive rebound. Ellis, she lays it in with 9 seconds left. Purdue will press. They have one timeout, and finally they call it. Katie Geralds was kept on gesturing and screaming for the timeout, and it took a while for the side referee to call it. So the lead back down to 5, but that was a lot more time than you would have liked off the clock for Purdue.
Definitely.
10 seconds left and another fine rivalry affair between these in-state foes. Moore McNeil to inbound. Gets it to Berger, she gets away, more time off the clock, and finally they call the foul on Ellis, but Berger able to wind a couple more seconds off. She'll have 2 shots at the line, and she just hit 2. She hits 2 more, and it should end this ball game. The 5th largest crowd in IU women's basketball history today at Assembly Halls. Berger hits the first, lead out to 6. Have a feeling if the Hoosiers host an NCAA tournament game, which feels very possible, that record that largest crowd attended, which was the WNIT championship game, will be broken.
Oh, no doubt. I think the
one last gasp for the Boilers here in Bloomington. What an effort they have put together. Hardin to inbound, no timeouts for Purdue. Gets it to Layden, she can't finish. Pepper pulls it down, and that will do it. Indiana, for the 3rd straight year, sweeps the Boilers.
None of those fans left the building the entire time.
64 to 57, the final. Indiana.